I went to a secondary school. It was called a federal government girls' school.
Welcome back to Chukitable Media. Kemi Badenoch, the leader of the Tory party in the UK, is writing the news again. And I want you to listen what she said this time around that is checking the internet, most especially by the Nigerian people. Anyway, before I go to the issue of Nigeria raised by Kemi Badenoch while she was growing up, I want you to know that a statement was credited to Kemi Badenoch recently, and the Muslims or people or reasonable people all around the world are not taking it easy with her. If you are reasonable also when you listen to what I have to say here or tell you what she said, maybe you haven't heard it anywhere, you'll be surprised that a woman that has her own children could pronounce statement like this out from her mouth. She has her own family and she has ambition. Our children also are living well with all standards. But I am giving Kemi Badenoch the chance to come out and retract this statement and apologize to all the well-meaning people all around the world, because only God himself is the one that put people on the throne. She cannot say by the words of her mouth all our pronouncements that are so inhuman this time around. I used to be a fan, but this time around, I refuse to accept this statement from her. And I know it is because she wants to become the Prime Minister of the UK, and that is why she has to throw everybody under the bus. Kemi Badenoch, where's your humanity? Kemi Badenoch, what will happen after you become a Prime Minister? Becoming a Prime Minister, is it the end of the world? Will this definitely take you to paradise? And that is what I am asking you. I want you to know that humanity comes first before any other position, and fear of God follows suit. Because if you don't have a fear of human being, the respect for human being, you don't have to have the fear of them, but the respect for them, we ourselves, then you won't have fear and respect for God that created every one of us. Kemi Badenoch, this statement is yours. You said in your statement, picture of starving children haven't shifted my support for Israel, says Kemi Badenoch, leader of Conservative Party. Kemi Badenoch said this during a visit to a house development in Northwood, Middlesex, and the image of this was taken by Lucy North, and people are complaining, people are passing comments. I don't know on which side you are standing. Do you think this statement credited to Kemi Badenoch is nice, it's good, and you want to see, children being killed by Israel, Palestinian children, and other, children, people living around the place, stranded there to be killed, so that you can show your support to Israel? Somebody wrote, he said, she's playing in the gallery. I see her as an attention seeker and someone who chose to ignore our root. Anyway, this has nothing to do with our root. It has something to do with a global geographical uh politics, which is Israel or the Middle East. The second issue playing around on the social media is the one where Kemi Badenoch was explaining or narrating during an interview to a man, asking her a question about how she, where she went to school, what she did while she was in school, how she, how she grew up, how the educational system of where she lived while she was growing up was at that period in time. And Kemi Badenoch did not leave any stone unturned, because this one it's about Nigeria, and she has to do everything she can to, or everything she could, to throw Nigeria under the bus. Yes, I want you to listen to what she has to say. Listen right now before I bring comment for you from the online, so that at least you will hear the position people are taking on this statement of ours this time around.
I went to a secondary school. It was called a federal government girls' school in a place called Shagamu. And that was like being in prison. When I tell the stories about using a machete and having, because there are no lawnmowers, that's the place that I'm talking about, having to fetch buckets of water. And that was the first time that I was away from home, away from my family. And I wasn't just looking at...
This is a boarding school?
Yes, it's a federal boarding school. And it was very...
You shared a dormitory with other girls?
We're about 150, I think. 20 to 30 in a room, and there were 6 rooms.
And so the machete is for cutting the grass?
Yes, cutting the grass.
Explain why were you cutting the grass?
Well, because who else is going to cut the grass? It's just, it's the
grass grows, you have machetes to cut it.
Exactly. They're not, this is a federal school where this is the old grammar school system sort of fading out. And everyone who passed an exam and got a certain score got to go to a federal school. And this was more socialism. So they sprinkled people around. They didn't want one school getting all the best results. They would mix people about. So you could end up getting sent thousands of miles away, to a boarding school, at the extreme end of the country. So I was lucky. I didn't get sent too far away, but I was very far from home. I'd never been away from home before. And it was like Lord of the Flies. The students were in control. We needed to look after the school ground. So using a machete, having to clean toilets with no running water. I'm not going to go into the description of that, but it is very, very, very grotty. And so that was when I talk about the hardship, it's often being in that school, but I still always carry with me that understanding that you never know where you're going to end up.
Kemi said, who else is going to cut the grass? It was like Lord of Flies, having to clean toilet with no running water. Kemi Badenoch talks about her horrible experiences as a student of FGGC in Shagamu,
away from my family, and I wasn't just looking.
This is a boarding school?
Yes, it's a federal boarding school, and it was very...
You shared a dormitory with other girls?
We're about 150, I
Dolapo
think.
wrote, she said she's doing too much at this point. Some of us also attended boarding school or boarding house school in Ogun State, and all these realities shaped us for better, actually. Even though it was really a traumatic experience, but the true and genuine boarding house school, boarding house students saw them as part of our building. Kemi, it is enough. Just calm down. But for real, our government needs to do better, especially in our academic sector. Prissy also wrote, this comment section shows how much we have normalized dysfunction in this country. You went through the same traumatic situation and you are okay with it. Not talking about it doesn't mean someone else shouldn't tell our story. There is nothing pleasant about a child having to go through all that. That's another comment. Very apt. So, Otumba wrote, but you said you don't align with Nigeria. Why always talking about Nigeria? Are you contesting to govern in Nigeria? So, comment keep coming. Who else? Well, she has become celebrity through her stories. At least her experience in Nigeria and stories have become a source of blessing to her. That is an opinion as well. Somebody also wrote, he said, that is our personal experience. I attended boarding school in Lagos and we didn't cut grass. The only time we cut grass then was when you had to perform an act tantamount to a gross misconduct. Grass cutting in my years in Lagos State Model College was only a punishment for a very bad conduct. The experience made us men. There were people There were people and the tractors that were employed to do the cutting of the grass. I totally understand Kemi's point. Back in my school days, we had to clear grass, sweep classroom, and do similar chores. If you arrive late, you'll be assigned a patch of land to weed as punishment. We did it, but looking back, it wasn't right. We were there to learn, not to be used as manual labor. I completely agree with Kemi on this. Our schools in Nigeria need to do better. These are a series of opinions left and right. Put yours in the comment section. Come back and let us discuss. Subscribe to my channel. Share it, like it, put on your notification button. God bless you as you do. See you next time. Bye bye for now.